In this review, we're going to look at the ThunderCats Ultimates Jaga figure by Super7. Jaga comes packaged in a standard Super7 style Ultimates packaging with all the ThunderCats figures going on forward. If you notice, the sleeve is different from the Wave 1 figures. This is from the Lino sleeve. It is a duller finish. This is a much glossier finish. And this one's a lot more prone to fingerprints, but I do like the glossiness of the nature of the entire box. It does make on the earlier editions, the ThunderCats logo stand out a little bit more, where it's a glossy finish over satin, where this is gloss over top of gloss. On the back of the packaging, you got the ThunderCats logo. You have Ultimates logo on top. You got your standard legalese and barcodes on the bottom. The slipcover slides right off. With the slipcover off, you can clearly see Jaga inside the packaging. And on the back, you got the artwork of Jaga on the back, a little bio. Let's go ahead and open them up and take a look. Here we have the plastic trays outside the box. And there's actually 2 trays of accessories. Forgot to get the tape off this one. There's an inner tray taped to the inside of the bigger tray. And on this tray, inner tray, you get a soft rubber cape and extra hands. And on the outer tray is what we saw inside the box. We got the the packaged head, 2 alternate heads, 2 versions of the Sword of Omens, extend it and retract it. And Jaga's magical bag where he pulls out all the accessories and clothing for the ThunderCats. Let's get Jaga out of the plastic tray. Here we have Jaga outside the plastic tray. First thing you'll probably notice on my copy, the unitard is off to the right more than, it's not centered up. And there's no way to just yank and pull because it is super tight all the way around. Might be able to take some heat and try to pull it. Yeah, I'm going to fake it by moving the waist twist and line up that way, but you can feel underneath it's not lined up. And there's a couple little paint blemishes too. I got like a little speck here, a little bit of blue right there on the upper chest, missing some blue here, but other than that, he looks okay. He looks pretty good. Let's check out all the eyes on here, on the alternate heads. Because on my Lino from Super7, the neutral face is, the eyes are terribly painted. And here's the Jaga without the helmet on. Those look okay. As I mentioned on the Super7 Lino, the eyes are pointing like this. It looks really weird. So I don't use this head. The Angry Head, their eyes are painted much better, but there's still a little speck of red at the teardrop shape, the spike. But we're here to look at Jaga. Jaga comes prepackaged with the soft goods cape on. There's a nice bendy wire to the cape. I do wish it was a better material. This material just feels kind of cheap. It's not a very good material for capes, and the stitching is very loose. It's even unraveling here around the ThunderCats logo. This is just a cape I got off eBay, and it is cleaner stitched than a $55 premium figure. And the material is so much better too. If you had a material like this and clean stitchings like this for Jaga, I've been happy. But as it is, the material just feels very cheap and the stitching very unclean. Like I said, it's unraveling here already. But the bendy wire works really good. You can pose your cape and do the dynamic posing for the cape. And it's easy enough to change out. You can just pop off the head, off the ball joint, undo the clasp here. And before we do that, I'm going to heat this and see if I can straighten this up because it is bugging my OCD. I think I got it straightened up a little bit more. Let's go ahead and pop the other cape on. Let's take a look at the other cape. got this powdery residue over top. I guess it's a mold release all over the cape. Kind of reminds you like with a lot of old Mattel figures when they get that haze on them. Let's go ahead and slide this over the neck. Pop this peg in. And let's use the older Jaga head. Actually, I kind of like the rubber cape on this one a little better because it matches the scarf coming off the back of the helmet better. Color-wise match. It's not a very good matching color with the fabric cape, but it is nice to have a wired fabric cape. I actually prefer this head on the figure. This is the one I'm going to actually be displaying with. I like the old Jaga. They all look great, but I do like this one the best. Actually, I think almost feels like these two are a little bit too big. Speaking too soon, too. The sculpt on the crest up here is a little rough looking. I don't know if it's the paint causing it. I got a little spot here. It looks like it's probably where it's in the packaging. And my spike came out a little crooked. I just took my finger and straightened it up. Didn't even have to use heat to fix it. Same way on this one, it's a little crooked. Let's see. It's a stiffer material. It's a little, that's a little better. But, you know, I was able to straighten up the unitard a little bit. It's still off. It's almost like the lower section of it's, they got the dimensions wrong. It is too tight. You can see the indentations of the, wherever the bottom piece. Like with Lino, you can see he actually has glutes sculpted into the rubber overlay. I'm wondering if this one actually did too, and it's just too small, and it's pulling it too tight, because this sucker is super tight. With the Lino one, you can actually shift it and move it around a little bit. Not much, but more so than what you can in Jaga. This thing is pulled super tight. The sculpting looks really nice. I was kind of hoping these were removable. Actually, I thought about where Lino has pins and the rest of the figures going forward will not have pins. I was thinking about doing a pop at the bicep down if they were removable pieces, but they're not. They're molded into the arms. But it'd been nice to be able to give Lino some pinless joints. I'm hoping we're getting a reissue of the version 1 Lino. Kind of hope they update it with some pinless joints, because to make it look so much nicer. I don't mind the pins if it got so many with pins, but with the rest of the wave, only wave 1 will have pins, and the rest of them will not. It makes me want updated versions of the first releases, plus they'd had some paint issues with my first release. Let's look at the rest of the accessories before we move on. Like I said, we've got the hand that's supposed to look like it's holding the magical bag that pulls out all the weapons and clothing for the ThunderCats. You got some glitter inside the plastic. And it's non-removable. The hand is part of the sculpt. And you got the hinge. It is still hinged. You got gripping hands with vertical hinges. Yes. Lino did not come with vertical hinges on for holding his sword, but Jaga does. That is great. That's another, version 2 of Lino, the reissue, whatever they want to call it, it needs some vertical hinged hands for holding the sword. Vertical hinged left hand, horizontal hinged left hand, horizontal hinged right hand, vertical hinged right hand. And he has 2 style post hands on the figure. These look great. And we have the 2 different Swords of Omens. We have the fully extended. And it is the same sculpt as Lino's, but a much better painted ThunderCats logo on the sword. Look how terrible that one is in comparison. This one is very detailed. That looks so much better. This is the Mattel Lino with the Super 7 sword. It looks like he's going to get an upgraded sword again. I got the other sword on the Super 7 Lino. I use this one as a main display because Mattel has much better painted eyes than the Super 7 one. And the sleep mode of the Sword of Omens. The Eye of Thunder looks really good, clean. Now let's take a close look at Jaga. Let's look at it. I love the older face. This looks better proportioned for the body. I actually like the rubber cape better than the fabric cape, which is usually the other way around. So I got the little blue paints back here. Missing the paint here. And on the hinges, I got some paint rub off here. But he looks really good. Got all the paint work around the gauntlets. Those look good. And that's clean ThunderCats logo. It's one of the problems with having this cape be removable. If that peg poking through where it attaches, can't get a nice flush mount for the ThunderCats logo. I kind of wish it would just... I like the option of having the alternate capes. I wish they could have figured out a different way to do it, because this a little awkward here. We'll do a quick rundown on articulation. The head is on a ball peg, so you get full 360. You get a little bit of up and down. Tilt side to side. Disc hinge shoulders. You go up to here. Full 360 rotation. Bicep swivel. Single hinge elbows. They go up to just shy of 9 degrees. But there's also a swivel there. And you have hinge and swivel wrist. Ab crunch back this far. Crunch forward this far. There is a waist twist. Disc hinge hips. They go out full Van Damme. Kick forward. Kick back. Thigh rotation. Single joint knees. Just under 9 degrees. And there's rotation. You get your boot rotation at the knee too. There's no boot cut, so you get a rotation up here. Kind of wish they would do like the Linos. You had the separate boot here. It looks so much cleaner, more realistic this way. I like the way this looks compared to having the boot sculpted onto the lower legs. Hinged ankles, back, forward, ankle pivots. And one thing I wanted to try with these new hands, we have, like I mentioned, vertical hinged hands. And they're almost all the way painted up. Can we use these on Lino? They are different style pegs, so I'm not sure if it'll work or not. Yes, they do. So now we can use Jaga's extra hands to be able to have Lino hold his sword properly aloft. ThunderCats, hold! Yeah, we need a set of hands like this for the Lino figure. I may end up using one of this for one of my Linos, just so I can have a Lino holding the sword aloft properly. Dun dun dun! Let's have him hold the sword. Okay, I'm swiping back to the cloth cape for the rest of the view because that is annoying. It keeps wanting to pop out because it's such a heavy cape. And anytime you articulate it, and it's just a weak mount point. Yeah, they definitely needed to come up with a better solution about mounting, changing out the capes. It's just quite annoying. I do like that with the Jaga, they did make his arms a little slimmer than on Lino. So you actually look like he's an older character, a less muscled character. He's still very muscular, if you can see, but he's still slimmer than Lino. That unitard is slid back into the position where it was at. It's definitely too small. It's too tight. By doing that, he has no no butt whatsoever. But at least he's got a cape to cover up his bad case of no acetol. We mentioned some of the flaws, but he still looks really good. But one of the things he's got to compete with in the same release with him is Slive. Slive was so awesome. Such a great figure. Then you got to compete with this versus this one. Any flaws on this one after looking out such an outstanding figure, it's going to stand out. So to get brought in Slive, let's look at a few comparisons from other figures. We have Slive. And we have Lino. You can see Lino is a bulkier figure. Wider chest. More bigger arms. Here we have a Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. G.I. Joe Roadblock. We have a Classics He-Man. SH Figure Arts Goku. All in all, I'm glad to still have Jaga to add to my ThunderCats growing collection. I'd love to see these things finally getting released. Like I said, I did have a few minor issues with this one, with the unitard being crooked. It's a little tight. It's a lot too tight. It's like the dimensions were wrong when they measured the waist piece. Not crazy about how the cape attaches clasped on the unitard. It's not so bad with the cloth cape where it's so light, but with the rubber cape, it makes me an issue because it's heavy, and you got a single mounting point, and you're putting all that weight here. Of course, it is resting on the shoulders too, but as soon as you articulate the figure, this pops loose. I like all the alternate hands, the better painted ThunderCats logo on the Sword of Omens. Like I had a few little spots where I'm missing paint, a little blue speck on the chest. And the older head, to me, is the superior head for this figure. The head it comes packaged with seems a little bit too big for this figure. It's slightly larger than this one. And the sculpt is not as sharp as on the older head. The unmasked head is nice, but I'll probably never use this one. I like this head. This is the way he's going to be looking on the shelf. And all the accessories are nice. I like the figure. I would like to see some of the issues I mentioned addressed, and maybe get like a spirit version of Jaga. I would so buy a spirit version of Jaga just to have on the shelf. He was seen more on the show in the spirit form than he was when he was alive. But anyway, thank you for taking time to watch the review. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll catch y'all next time.